excuse me. Hey, horror fans. Excuse me. Once again, it's the Horror Miser Money G, and tonight we're going to talk about last night's episode of American Horror Story Cult. Now, first we pick up the story right where we left off from the season premiere. Allie is sleeping in the bed, and she wakes up with one of those crazy-looking clown faces that has a long nose that looks like a penis. And she screams bloody murder, and she goes downstairs to Ivy. Ivy gets the knife, and she goes into self mode, looking under the bed, looking under the showers, but there's no clown. Allie starts to skits out, and Ivy and her start to have a makeout session, but they're interrupted by their son Ozzy, who is having problems of his own with the clowns. Turns out, it looks like we have another visit from our favorite clown, Twisty, from Freak Show, but other clowns start to attack him. They bust into his room, Jack Spencer from The Shining style, but we realize that this is not real. He's having a nightmare or night terrors as he screams bloody murder, and Ivy and Allie come to his rescue and try to wake him up and let him know he's just having a nightmare. And the credits roll, and it looks like someone's really trying to disturb these two ladies and their son. Our favorite guy, Kai, whose beating by immigrants went viral, video went viral, is now going, he has a press conference out at City Hall saying he's going to run for the councilman seat that has been vacated by the Chang's murder, that were murdered by the clowns, but you know, they don't know of any clowns that murdered them, but they think it was a murder-suicide. But that's what Kai is going. He's going to run for Chang's council seat. Also, his sister Winter is also up to her no good as she starts to babysit Ozzy, whose real name is Ozymandias. If I mispronounce that, let me know. And she plays the peeking game with him, saying if you are saying that your fears will now become your fears will become my fears. And I will take your fears away because that's the only way we can survive in this type of world that we live in now. We also find out that Ivy and Allie have new neighbors. It seems like they've new neighbors are moving in. We see a whole bunch of blue barrels being moving into the garage, and this guy who's wearing looks like a NASA spacesuit, and it's a weird looking woman who's wrapped up in almost everything. We find later on that these are the Wilsons. Let's see, I think Wilson's name is Harrison and Meadow Wilson. Meadow is a skin cancer survivor, and she only will stay out the sun for like only a few minutes before she heads back inside, fearing that she will get cancer again. And she talks about how many times she's had melanoma. While Harrison admits that he's actually gay. They actually find out that these two were longtime friends, and they decided that if they didn't mean any special, that they would just marry themselves. And he actually has a get out of jail free card every year where he can have same-sex relations without any repercussions. Yeah, a weird couple, yes. And they're very brutally honest with Allie and Ivy. While they were visiting the Wilsons, Allie has another one of her panic attacks because of the bees. Remember the vintage that we saw a lot of bees, and they come into play in this episode. Unfortunately, since they have honeycombs and honeycombs have holes, we know Ivy has one of those whole phobias. She starts to almost have a panic attack. But their son Ozzy loves playing with the bees, even though she's afraid that something will happen to them. But they're very, very crazy, weird. They're like they belong to the Nicole Kidman fan club. Very crazy, weird people. Meanwhile, back to Ivy and Allie. It looks like Allie's phobias are driving a wedge between her relationship with Ivy. At one night, they get an alarm from their restaurant that they go into, and reliable Ivy's about to go, but then Allie says, you know, I'm going to go. She goes into the restaurant, and everything seems to be fine. And we think she's having one of her phobias when she goes into the freezer and backs up into what we believe is a fake dead body, but it actually is a real dead body of their sous chef. Yes, he's dead. He got murdered. We see through a series of flashbacks that you know, obviously something happened. We see through a series of flashbacks that the sous chef had an argument with one of their other chefs who is an immigrant, who's been with Allie and Ivy since they opened the store. and now he's dead. So of course the immigrant is the prime suspect. This causes Allie to become even more paranoid, that she starts to fortify the house, bending up iron grate doors. All of a sudden she's, really fortifying the house, as her phobias start to really take a hold of her, and it's putting even deeper wedge of her relationship with Ivy. Unbeknownst to her partner, she also goes back to the Wilsons and secretly buys a gun. Yes, she's starting to sketch out real bad. Not even mentioning it to Ivy. Later on, Ivy comes back and brings her shrink to the house, and they have a little sit down, and she shows him the gun, as we see in the flashback where she got the gun. She literally tells the guy, "Don't tell Ivy what I have here," and that's doctor-patient confidentiality. He recreants and decides not to tell Ivy about the gun and says everything seems to be fine. But we all know, eventually later, that gun's going to come into play sooner or later. If or later. And sure enough, it comes to a head later, because there's a huge blackout that happens late at night. Winter is there. Before I went ahead too far, Winter is obviously up to no good, because she draws Allie a bath, and he seems to be having some type of a romantic gesture where Allie might cheat on Ivy, when all of a sudden there's a blackout. Everything goes to black. Poor Allie starts to really sketch out. She thinks they're coming. We see Harrison comes over saying the terrorists are attacking because it's too coordinated. He does his little sketching. Winter dashes out. She leaves Allie in the house by alone, and all of a sudden Allie's just going crazy. I mean, she's really starting to sketch out. Really starts to sketch out, thinking that something bad is going to happen. Bad's going to happen. And she wakes up Ozzy, and unfortunately by the time she gets to the door, there's her I think his name is Pedro. Pedro's at the door, but she doesn't recognize him. Bam! She shoots him dead. Also, I got to mention before, earlier in this show, Kai visits Allie's house when she is home and tries to get her to go on ahead and help him with his campaign for the missing councilman seat. He eventually confronts her, letting her know it's like, this is what you want, because now things are going to change because of Trump's inaction now. So instead of you being a liberal, now you're being a conservative who was a liberal who just was mucked. Nice line right there. And he really scares Allie. I meant to forgot to mention that, but that was also beginning of it. That was at the beginning part of the show, or in the middle of the show. And that's where the show left off. Allie shoots Pedro in the head. I don't know if he killed him or not. But we know when she shoots him, like I said, we knew that gun was going to come into play. And I'm pretty sure this is not going to let Ivy, Ivy's not going to be pretty too happy the fact she kept the secret from her, which will damage their already fractured relationship worse than it is right now. So obviously, there are some sinister forces at work. Obviously, they have designs or plans with Allie and Ivy and in their house, the restaurant. They're really trying their best to make Allie going crazy and insane. And I don't know what the end game is, but it's pretty intriguing to find out what's happening. So that's my review of last night's episode of American Horror Story. What did you think? Did you enjoy the episode like I did? Do you think where the story is going? Or did you think they've hit a wall already? Comment below and let me know. We'll talk about it. Alright, that's my video for today. Please stay tuned this weekend. I will start my series with my Saw series. That's going to start with the original Saw. That should be up hopefully by this weekend. Like I said, this is your first time here. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and you'll be also part of the horror experience as well. Also, all my social media links will also be in the description below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules.